Hi all, this is Simona Rich and this is the last 12th section of the book, The Most Holy Trinosophia. The hall into which I had just entered was perfectly round. It resembled the interior of a globe composed of hard and transparent matter as crystal, so that the light entered from all sides. Its lower part rested upon a vast basin filled with red sand. A gentle and equable warmth reigned in this circular enclosure. The sages called this hall. The basin of sand sustaining it is called, again Hebrew characters but no Masoretic vowel points. With astonishment I gazed around this crystal globe, when a new phenomenon excited my admiration. From the floor of the hall ascended a gentle vapor, moist and saffron yellow. It enveloped me, raised me gently, and within 36 days bore me up to the upper part of the globe. Thereafter the vapor thinned. Little by little I descended and finally found myself again on the floor. My robe had changed its color. It had been green when I entered the hall, but now changed to a brilliant red. A contrary effect had taken place in the sand on which the globe rested. Gradually its red color had been transformed into black. After finishing my ascent, I remained 3 more days in that hall. After that time I left in order to enter a large place surrounded by colonnades and gilded porticos. In the center of the place stood a bronze pedestal supporting a group representing a large strong man whose majestic head was covered with a crown helmet. A blue garment protruded through the meshes of his golden armor. In one hand he held a white staff bearing certain characters, the other hand he extended toward a beautiful woman. His companion wore no garment, but a sun radiated from her breast. Her right hand held 3 globes joined by golden rings. A coronet of red flowers confined her beautiful hair. She sprang into the air and seemed to lift with her the warrior who accompanied her. Both were borne by the clouds about the group. On the capitals of 4 white marble columns were set 4 bronze statues. They had wings and appeared to sound trumpets. I crossed the place, and mounting on a marble platform which was before me, I noticed with astonishment that I had re-entered the Hall of Thrones, the first in which I had found myself when entering the Palace of Wisdom. The triangular altar was still in the center of this hall, but the bird, the altar and the torch were joined and formed a single body. Near them was a golden sun. The sword, which I had brought from the Hall of Fire, lay a few paces distant on the cushion of one of the thrones. I took up the sword and struck the sun, reducing it to dust. I then touched it, and each molecule became a golden sun like the one I had broken. At that instant a loud and melodious voice exclaimed, "The work is perfect." Hearing this, the children of light hastened to join me. The doors of immortality were opened to me, and the cloud which covers the eyes of mortals was dissipated. I saw, and the spirits which preside over the elements knew me for their master. Finis. This is the last section of the Most Holy Trinosophia, and now I will read out the explanation of this last section. Firstly, starting from the explanation of the image. The pilgrimage of the adept is at last completed. In the heavens blazes the philosophic sun, a triangle surrounded by a circle and a square, representing the union of the diversified elements of nature into one divinely radiant and effulgent power. The female figure is Isis, her body being no longer concealed by the black garment as in the second picture. She is nature. With one hand she points upward towards the divine light, which is her own source, while with the other she carries 3 globes emblematic of the perfection of art, the supreme hermetic alchemy. The globes contain the 3 parts of the philosopher's stone, bound together by gold rings. The large strong man is the initiate himself. Through the meshes of his golden armor protrudes the blue undergarment, his starry cloak. In his hand he carries a white wand ornamented with magical characters. This is the insignia of his rank, the baton of the adept. The time for the 12th and last step in the initiation is at hand. The crown, which was previously in the heavens, is now upon the initiate's helmet. Isis springs into the air, lifting with her the new master. Nature, the heartless destroyer of the ignorant, is the gracious servant of the wise. Led by nature herself and lifted by her from an earthly state, the wise man ascends into the presence of the three masters of the universal lodge, whose radiant sun blazes in the sky. In the 12th sign Pisces, the nirvana is accomplished, the stone is projected, the secrets of nature are revealed, and the initiate soars upwards with the triumphant declaration of the masters, consummatum est. It is finished. And now analysis of the text. The initiate now identifies himself again with alchemical matter and enters a crystal retort resting in a sand furnace which keeps it constantly at a gentle heat. The name of the hall is a place where drops trickle. The basin sustaining it is the desert of blazing fire, or the agent which enables the drops to escape. From the bottom of the glass retort, vapors are constantly ascending. The adept is lifted up, and after 36 days is borne to the upper part of the globe. The heat being reduced, he descends and discovers that the color of his garment has changed from green to brilliant red. The solution in the alchemical retort, if digested a certain length of time, will turn into a red elixir, which is called the universal medicine. It resembles a fiery water and is luminous in the dark. See The True Way of Nature by Hermes. The adept himself is now the universal medicine. He is the very substance which is for the healing of the nations. His crimson garment is the vestment of the red elixir. He has become the ruby diamond. After gazing upon a hieroglyphical picture by which his instruction is perfected and completed, the new master of the great work finds himself again in the Hall of Thrones in the wise man's house. He beholds the bird, the altar, and the torch united into one spiritual body. Heaven, earth, and man have been united by the indissoluble bonds of hermetic wisdom. The projection of the stone is the final testing of the completeness of the work. The adept strikes the golden sun, shattering it into fragments. In his role of the ruby diamond, the initiate then touches each of the broken parts, and they too become suns as glorious as the original. The sun here represents the germ of the universal gold, or the divinity present in all natures. This is broken into fragments in agreement with the Bacchic tradition that the solar energy was distributed throughout nature. The philosopher then touches the fragments, and each becomes perfect. The alchemist is master of his art, and by virtue of the stone, he releases and perfects the fragments of divinity locked within each mortal constitution. The supreme judge of all works decrees that the adept has completed regeneration, and that the work is perfect. The children of light, his brother initiates, hasten to join him. The gates of universal life are open. The veil of the misty is lifted. The adept is now an apoptis, one who sees clearly. The elemental spirits, symbolizing bodily limitations, acknowledge the mastery of the inner principles. The philosophic birth is complete. The ages acknowledge a new master. This is the end of the Most Holy Trinosophia, and I hope that you enjoyed listening to these lectures as much as I enjoyed reading the Most Holy Trinosophia. It taught me so much. I believe it to be one of the clearest explanations of natural initiation. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.